Meditation is not something you should or you could do it, especially on the West. It's just a big fraud. So no teacher, no guru, no ideology can give us anything.
He started like this.
Yeah.
We met and our relationship manifested in a way of a teacher and a student. You replied, and who is who? You see, and herein lies the paradox, you know?
Yeah. Love is something where there is no you.
What does this mean? You know I'm poking you. It's nice. Let's continue it. It's so funny to see when it is seen. It's like a chord Jester.
Yes. Why is not beauty a dying person?
We tried to be personal and specific in the second half of this talk, but we weren't successful, I think. Is there a way?
Of course.
Please elaborate. So, Dušan, welcome. Hello. I'm really glad that you came. As you know, we will start with 10 questions. So if you're ready, we can just jump into it.
Try to be ready.
Okay, let's do it. First question. What is your favorite place?
I'm not sure if I have any place to choose, but maybe favorite places are there where I feel well.
What place makes you uncomfortable?
I don't think there is any place like that.
What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Probably it's the question of being happy inside, being relaxed, and then everything can start.
What turns you off?
If surrounding, like people, were not understandable of some basics of life, but that was maybe sometimes back. Now I'm not disturbed anymore, I think so, by anyone or maybe, of course, hearing, seeing wars around you, things like that.
What sound or noise do you love?
Usually quieter sounds, but sometimes could be the sound which is not so quiet, maybe made by some musicians.
What sound or noise do you hate?
No, there is no sound or something I can say I will hate it or something. No.
What superpower would you like to have?
Oh, superpower. Maybe to break through my own ignorance. Still I'm trying and still I'm very, very slow.
What do you fear losing the most?
Maybe just I'm not ready to die in physical body because I have to break through.
Dušan, what is beauty to you?
I think beauty is where there is relaxed. Everything what it is relaxed.
Last question, Dušan,
Yes.
last but not least. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
How are you, dude?
That's it?
Yes.
That's nice. How are you, dude? What would be the answer, huh? Would you? Yeah, these are the 10 questions, rapid fire questions.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. Nice.
I don't know if I made it by your standards.
For sure you did, because there are none. So
All right.
you see, every person actually answers them differently. So
Yeah,
it's
sure.
always different and
Yeah.
always interesting.
Oh, yeah.
And I also stated those questions, asked them to my little kid yesterday.
Oh.
And you know, it was so funny to see that some of his answers were the same as were the answers of an old guy that I interviewed, like an 80 plus guy. You know, because they are simple.
Yes,
you know, what sound or noise do you love?
Yes.
Birds.
Yes.
And it was so beautiful to me. But this is just a top of.
We forgot to be in a children's state of mind, maybe.
Yeah, this was the same thought of mine. You know, if the 5-year-old and the 80-year-old guy and a kid have the same, let's say, energy or the manner, there's something to think about here.
Yeah, sure.
That was my first thought.
Oh, beautiful.
You know, I just have to throw it out because there is one thought on my mind that it's floating. It's very strong, and I have to say it. I'll just maybe go around a bit. How do I prepare for these talks? Okay, it's more or less spontaneous, so I don't have prepared questions. And when I was actually thinking of you and how we would talk, I didn't have any, you know, usually I have some anchors, you know, like broad topics, you know, like communication and so on. But for you, I didn't have. And then we spoke on the phone. And then you told me something very interesting. And this was I said, this will be my anchor for the start. And you said, I don't know if I have something meaningful to share, something in that manner. And I replied, if you remember, me as well. I also don't know if I have something meaningful to share. And anyhow, I'm doing these talks. I'm doing it. So this was on the top of my head. And I said, let's start with this. Yeah, I don't know what will happen. Let's say like this, okay? What we will talk about. And this is, for me, very interesting. I don't know how you feel about it.
If we share something, usually, or maybe it's just me like that, and we don't get the feedback as we maybe a little bit expecting, so at least some kind of recognition of our sharings, then we are not satisfied.
Things go haywire from there on, huh?
Yeah.
Pretty easily.
Yeah. So sharing small talk or sharing something maybe very deep could be for someone small talk. So sharing with someone who understands or would like to have deep talk. I think there is no difference. And that's why I was telling you, I don't know if I can something valuable to share, something what would be maybe interesting for third party to observe or to listen to the talk, to our talk.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I cannot somehow already feel a lot of times, a lot of people I can sense, probably because I can sense also this in myself, you know, this will easily be till now actually, you know, when we are speaking in this kind of manner, without any substance, you know, without any burning topics, with a slow speed, you know, probably this, a lot of people will dismiss very easily, very fast. I do sometimes also, depends on the mood, because it's, I think it's not, I see our minds are so used to the mode that they have to have something to feed on.
Yes. It means, if I can continue.
Yeah, let's do.
It means we have to hear something new.
Mm.
And we are hungry for new, to hear something new, something which we are not familiar with. So usually, is for us, for most of us, is ordinary, everyday life. Is something what is very boring.
Yeah.
So, but when something completely new happened, then there is no more boredom. So,
Yeah.
But what actually we get when we get new things in our mind, it's we come to the start of your words today. When you say your little child has the same answer on those questions as a maybe 80 plus years old gentleman. So means their mind is more free, or maybe his mind is less.
Mm-hmm.
So the old man recognized that whatever he or she accumulated through all the life, it's not necessary. So the songs of the birds are necessary or important.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good point. I'm still flabbergasted, I would say, just thinking about these two situations, because as you can see, it shocked me a bit. I wasn't surprised, per se, because I know, let's say, about this stuff, or that it wasn't like what's happening, but I felt that it's so precious to see or to recognize, especially because it was really the answers of the 5-year-old and the 8-year-old were so similar, almost too similar. Actually, a few of them were identical, which was really I see. I see.
Yes.
And so, yeah, to the point you were making, all of the baggage of life. Let's say like this: I understand with the 5-year-old. He doesn't have a baggage. Yeah, yet. That's true, because I see already in him how he,
accumulating,
how he is accumulating, how he fills his backpack.
Yes.
But with an 80-year-old, yeah, it's completely different. Yeah. It's so interesting.
Sometimes they called 80 plus, or even they call like wisdom. So wise people.
Yeah.
And what is wisdom? Is wisdom more or is wisdom less?
Yeah.
So where is more wisdom? There where is a lot, or where there is a less? But maybe we can assume that you need a lot to recognize less.
Yeah.
But this is a danger, because not so often people out of a lot in themselves, so-called knowledge, experiences, all that stuff, they in some point stop for a moment and then recognize, all that is maybe much more simple as I thought.
Yeah.
So wisdom is nothing to carry with, probably, but wisdom is not to be dependent on what you carried with. So be free of that. Means out of a lot, you can clearly see where is simplicity. If you don't have a lot, it will be more difficult. But the young child, maybe, when he or she is not accumulated yet so much knowledge or whatever, experiences, he or she has not other choice but just to be simple. And probably when we grow up and accumulating a lot, maybe we forget about simplicity.
There was something here that grabbed my attention, and this was that, let's say, the child doesn't have a choice. And if we assume that the 80-year-old man, he has a choice, the question arises, does he really have a choice? Is a choice a difference? So the manner of choosing. Can wisdom be also accumulated or chosen or grabbed? You know, I don't know if I'm making it clear or if you understand what I mean, but the question is of the choice. I'm not sure about the choice, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Like, maybe we can start like that. I've heard some Slovenian poet, one lady. In one occasion, she says, when someone was stupid or ignorant as a young person, probably he will be stupid or ignorant even in the age of old person.
Okay.
So then there is like the wolf doesn't change the skin, but it change only the hairs. And wisdom is, of course, as I understand, or as I explore, is not something you can accumulate. We accumulate knowledge, experiences, through our thoughts patterns, emotional patterns, intellect. But probably the wisdom is a free choice to see what has to be seen through our knowledge, through our intellect. It's a choice which is choiceless. So when you put dry clothes in a water, when you pull them out, they will be wet. So there was a choice to put it in, but there is choiceless to take it out dry clothes. But we had a choice to put it in the water. So it's the natural outcome. It should be like that. That accumulated knowledge, experiences throughout our life, the wisdom should be the outcome. But the choice, like choiceless choice, is how we accumulated our experiences or our knowledge, whatever. So if we were in a process of understanding throughout our life that life is changing, we people are different, whatever I see, I experience, I am aware that that is just my experience. And so if I live like that through all the life, probably then there will be choiceless choice, that outcome of all that when I will be in an old age, I will understand, I will see the simplicity of life, which I, during intensive accumulation of all that experiences, life experiences, I wasn't aware so much. But the field we are talking now about is very touchy field, because wisdom can be explained or be understood on a different ways, and what the wisdom at all it is.
Actually, that was my first. When you were talking earlier, before my question, I was asking myself, or the question arose, what actually is wisdom? Because, as you know, I could explain it in 10 different ways,
Yes.
Maybe quotes from different movies,
Yeah.
the quotes that I myself made up. But
I can give you some answer.
Yeah.
As I exploring, and as I see myself, wisdom is something which is connected with some action, verbal, physical. So wisdom is not something which is something statical, something which doesn't move. So the wisdom, as I explore and as I understand, is very close to that what we call love. Because I'm very familiar with the wisdom is there when you are not there. So it means wisdom maybe is there where you don't want anything. Wisdom is something when you see without wanting anything. And maybe you express something, what you see, or maybe you don't express. Maybe you just express in a, maybe even not verbal, not through the body action. But wisdom is probably something, if we are talking about action, something acted on the way a situation wanted to be acted. But not situation wanted to be acted through our eyes, through our emotions or through our knowledge, but as the situation. And possible to act as situation wanted to be act is maybe easier to understand if we can say that we are acting through our heart. If the heart is something which is not connected with emotions and with any kind of attachment. In everyday life, we are so attached to many, many things, or at least I am. So, wisdom is something, as I explore or I find out, it's seeing through the heart. And many times, as you mentioned, again, about little children, a lot of things in their life they are seeing, we say, naturally, or as a child, or children, as a kids, but they are more acting through the heart. Of course, with the socialization, their mind with some beliefs, or they start to operating through them too. So, and finally, when they grown up, they are much more, or we are much more acting through our minds, through that what we think we are, like through our personality. So that, I think, is my approach towards wisdom.
Yeah. I feel what I wanted to actually say, and you continued, is that as I see it, wisdom is simple for me, simplicity. But this doesn't mean that if something is complex, like a situation, that there is, or if one acts to the outside world in complex way, that it's not necessarily that he doesn't act through wisdom. So it's hard to maybe explain. I'm just trying to shape it into words, the feeling that I have. But I would maybe leave it as here as it is, that it's simple, simplicity. And maybe if I can go back to I'm trying to visualize what what the kid was doing and what the old gentleman was doing, and one common denominator would be simplicity.
Whatever we talk about, whatever, it's very, very simple and very primitive and very complex in a one and the same term.
I have a thought here. Actually, now I know how to answer. We were talking about the work that I do, and through that I can answer the most easily because I'm most familiar. Let's say a work of art, something does, a work of art, something does to us. Let's say that we are touched by a piece of anything, of art, or a house, or a piece of furniture, or anything physical. And when we are touched by it, here a question could be, what does a thing have something in it that we were touched by it? Or is it us? How is this relationship going? But let's leave that aside. What my point is that when I'm making something as an artist or an architect, or when I'm producing something, I see it as a very complex thing at first. But I don't try to see it. It just is. It's messy, it's complex. When I start, I don't know how things come together and so on. But then something happens. I don't know what. I could explain, but let's not go there. Through a process, things get simpler and simpler. And there comes a point when I say, it feels right. I'm not thinking about it. This must be so, and now it's right. No. It's about feeling, not here, but everywhere. And then I see it, feel it, and I see it's simple. Now I'm satisfied because it's simple. And here maybe I can allude to one artist, Brancusi. He was a sculptor. He had a very simple shapes. And he very elegantly put this into words. And he said that simplicity is actually hidden complexity. And I feel the same, which if everything is in harmony for me, then I say it's simple for me and I can relate to it. Maybe it touches me, let's say. But in its pojavnosti, in its manifestation, let's say, may not be, may be very complex. So a lot of times when we speak about art, people say, simple is asceticism or minimalism. That is simple. No. I'm not talking about that simplicity. So before were mentioning Plečnik. He was very about how to do the clothing of the house or of the building, and let's do it. Actually, express it. Let's say like this. Express it, and he had a very expressive, let's say, way of doing facades and so on. But going beyond that, he is so simple in the essence or in the things that he or the pieces of art that he produces does to us. They do to us. I'm trying to wrap my mind around. I'm going around a bit, but I'm trying to explain unexplainable. To explain this feeling, which probably cannot be explained, but hopefully I gave some kind of framework, which maybe you can also.
Yes, indeed. What you told, it's exactly what I was feeling, thinking like that, and the architect you mentioned, the sculpturist. My expression would be that we are nature. We people are nature. Whatever nature is, and whatever our senses are. Senses. And if we are nature, we are also made in a golden cut. Everything is made in a golden cut. Made. Like nature processes probably
express themselves in a, let's say,
like that.
Yeah.
So why we are amazed about some natural shapes? We could be amazed about any natural shape, because probably it's talking to us. Maybe there are some archetypes. I was looking for an word archetype.
Just take your time.
So, and the nature, it looks through our ignorant eyes very complex. If we see a tree, if we see birds, how they are flying, many things. So very, very complex. But touch us. And when you or any artist, through the material work, any kind of material work, try to imitate the shapes, and he or she is as I think like that now, when they made things which touched us, means they touch those things, those arts, piece of arts, touch our archetypes. So, what is beauty? Again, what is simple or what is wisdom? But the beauty of the nature is something which probably touch us. And as I been looking your chairs and other stuff you have been produced in these premises you live in, they are just simply talking to something inside of me which connect, and beauty is that connection. The perfection of shapes and things like that. So whatever we see in the nature, maybe through the rocks, anywhere, even if we took out kind of piece of that nature, maybe doesn't look so perfect, or doesn't look so in a shape or in a golden cut.
Yeah.
But when we leave it in there where it is perfect. So it means the unity of something which is talking to us or make us feel beauty or something. That unity is talking to us. Maybe this is something which I never thought about it yet in my life. So what I'm trying to talk maybe is something very, very stupid is not the right word, but is maybe just something very ignorant.
It's kind of interesting because we started, let's say, with wisdom, then we shifted, or with beauty before that, then we shifted to wisdom, then we shifted to, let's say, art. But as I feel it, it's kind of the same. I don't mind. I actually don't mind. I did mind 20 years ago. Now I actually remember one instance when I was studying. I wanted to know what beauty is, and I went to the faculty, to the library of our faculty, which was architecture, but they didn't have a book. I had to go to philosophy, to the library of philosophy, and then I saw a book, and the title was Beauty. It was a thick book. I shuffled through it, and the only thing I can remember from that book is that it was so filled with stuff that the only thing I remembered...
You lose the beauty.
I remember the title only, you know? But from then on, I wanted to elaborate. I did, I as we were talking, I had a lot of definitions and so on.
Why is not beauty a dying person?
Yeah. Sorry to interject, let's say, but I had one girl here. We were talking, and the questions, the first questions, the 10 questions. One of them is, "What is beauty?" And she said, "Everything to me." And then later, 1 hour later, we were thinking again, and I asked her, "What was your answer?" She said, "Yeah, and everything." But then I poked her. Do you really mean everything? Or do you mean just everything but nice? What about the ugly things? Ugly. The war, the people dying, people being violent. And then the really interesting conversation started, because we really, that's to your point, what we really mean with wisdom. You know, we jumped straight into it, probably because we are maybe in the same universe. Let's say we know what we maybe think, but I'm not so sure. You know, so what actually we mean with wisdom, beauty, and a lot of times we say, yeah, beauty is something nice.
Of course.
And to throw the bone back to you,
Yes,
what about dying people? What about, you know, violence and so on? Is this beautiful?
So if we want to be very, very honest, as I try to understand or try to explore, maybe everything is beauty or everything is ugly. So beautiful is something which probably is decided by our heart, not by emotions. And ugly is something maybe which is in opposite of our heart. And if we look like onto plants or animal worlds, there is also killing, and there is also dying, and there is also tenderness and so-called beauty. So everything is just as it is. And the animals and the plant world doesn't divide world on beautiful and ugly. But we are something really, probably something special. So maybe because of we are aware of what we are doing, and maybe it looks like we have a choice what we will do, and maybe animal and plant world doesn't have a choice like we have. And so that's why maybe we see things as ugly. But if you are in a position of a big warrior who is having a big important battle on the battlefield, and he is winning, and his people, his nation will be saved, and there will no be any starvation anymore or things like that. So for him the war will be something beautiful. And you know, there is even a Chinese book about the war. So also the beauty of war. So what we divided in our culture or in our words are things on beauty and ugly. And of course, probably there are at least two elements: ugly and beauty looking through our mind. So through our personality. And maybe things which are beautiful for you are maybe neutral or even can be ugly for me, or vice versa. But if we are looking through the heart, then probably there are same things ugly to us and the same things beautiful to us.
It's an interesting point. If a thing, and let's say war, is seen through the heart, is it necessarily ugly? I don't know if that's the right question. I'm just trying to.
Yeah. Probably it's very difficult to talk about war being something beautiful.
Yeah.
In every war, there are victims and there are oppressors, or there are killings. And of course, this is not something which is in a matter of a heart, of the human heart. If human heart is something which we are united with, not only with the humans, but maybe through the whole nature. And the war is a topic which I am not able to judge in a way that it could be also beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe the outcome can bring beautiful, something beautiful. But war itself is probably something which is not beautiful. But every war has a start, and usually there is a question of chicken and the egg.
Yeah.
What was first?
What was first, and who was first, and what?
Who was first?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So why the one who was first was first? Maybe.
Yeah, and then you can see that maybe he was not the first one, or what was first?
Maybe it was something which was even worse than a physical war, which were first.
Yeah,
which was first.
You said something, and was this first because you did something to me which was not violent, but it wasn't pleasant, so I answered, and then you answered, and the answers were escalating. Then the physical started, and so on. So what was?
But this is very, 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 very touchy.
I know we jumped into wars already, which is, I mean, it's interesting that we did. I'm quite, but
we ask ourselves about beautiful.
Yeah.
Could war be something beautiful, or killing, or or dying person, or
maybe it's to point out that when I was describing the feeling, it wasn't about something statical. So the beauty, it would probably be more accurate to say unbounded beauty, like unconditional love. That would be probably more accurate, and that would then encapsulate also the ugly things. And why I'm saying this is because when I say this is beautiful to me, and let's say this inspires me and this is beauty to me, but actually I know from experience that not necessarily beautiful things inspire me. A lot of times actually conflicts inspire me, and chaos and so on. So this is what I mean with unbounded beauty. And then we probably come to something that is universal, that is not parceled to good and bad, ugly and beautiful. So unbounded beauty and unconditional love could be the terms to describe this, the processes, the life, which for me is in very simple in its essence. But then if I come back to the question of the war, I actually don't have an answer to it, and I don't have a feeling to it. But I'm very careful here because this can sound really in a way that I don't have a feeling to, because it actually touches me very profoundly when I hear about war or when I see the death around me, or I did in the past, let's say, when I encountered my mother's death, my father's death. I feel it much more. It is something that touches me, but it's not, I don't even know how to explain it. I'm trying to, you see, I'm struggling a bit. Maybe I will end here with the words. But yeah, unconditional love and unbounded beauty. This is where I was feeling it. It encapsulates. It doesn't divide. Yeah. Let's.
What will you explore about unconditional love? What is love and what is unconditional love? There are two things, obviously. But
is this a question?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Because
I will try to answer it. I would try to answer it in this way, that love is something I was taught about. Beauty is something, as I was talking before, that I was taught, that I was told about, that I seen in a book, and so on. This is love and this is beauty, which is also, that I can actually expand a bit, which is also the same about the concepts good and wrong, or right and wrong, which I was taught about. And later I taught myself, actually, and that I'm not discriminating, let's say other people told me. No, I'm in the same way. This is beautiful, this is ugly, this is good, which is also in division, in duality. But now the question comes, okay, what is then the unconditional love and unbounded beauty? Let's try to shape it into words. It is something that it encapsulates, that it brings together. And to form it around beauty, death may be very hard to see, maybe emotionally very hard to feel, to sense, but in its essence, or how to say, it's actually it's beautiful. And the harder question would be if killing is the same. That's even a harder question. I would say yes. I haven't been in a war, and I didn't experience it firsthand. Indirectly, let's say, I was involved, like we are now. We are not involved in it. But anyhow, you don't need to be in a war to experience what killing may be towards somebody or something, because you can sense it when you're doing it to animals. And probably we have these instances in our eyes, probably all of us, when we did something to animals. At least for myself, I can speak of that. I had one instance. We had a car in these cold days. I came with a car at home, and the cats, because of the warm engine, were always sitting on a tire. And there was one time when I backed off and I ran it over. And I immediately knew what happened. I stepped out. It was not on purpose, but what then happened is that I saw the cat, which was really struggling and was really on the end of her life energy, because the tire went over her head. To my surprise, what I wanted to do is to go and kill her. This was my not thinking mode, just acting. I wanted to go and put her out of her misery. So here I could sense in myself that, also intentional killing was part of something which was in that situation. But probably with the war, we just scratched the surface here, because we could make it more complex and say, oh, I had orders to do this and so on, We could go there, but maybe let's just stay here, because maybe I've sensed that we can relate to this situation, almost all of us, that we were in some kind of relations towards animals. But in principle, for me, is the same as war. Because it comes through, just the complexity may be different and the framework may be different, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And this, maybe if I wrap and close this concept, is unconditional love.
But in the same time, maybe you can even not so hardly looking for, you can find a person who will do the same, to whom will happen the same, and he or she will maybe say, oh, these ugly cats here, they're just making some blah blah blah, and thanks God. Or some people even put poison to the cats because they are making big noise at night and they couldn't sleep, and things like that. So, and their intention is very positive from their side. Their intention is very justified. So, but we started to talk about unconditional love and love and conditioned and unconditioned. I think, or I find out, maybe, everything what we are is conditioned. And I think we hardly speak about unconditional love, and we hardly speak about love at all. Because I said once that I find out that love is something where there is no you, there is no one there. So maybe then this is not conditioned or unconditioned. It is just something you are not in. And when you are not in, you don't know. So you don't know, you don't experience love because there is no one there. It's just love. And there is no witness of it. Maybe third observer maybe can say something.
When you are not, you said, isn't it?
Yes.
What does this mean?
I don't know if I am humble enough or if I am qualified enough to talk about it. I mean it, but maybe when your so-called personality is not there, and the personality means the all senses also. Because anyway, personality is shaped through the senses. And the mind is the top of the senses. So what we are just because of our senses. I can say that for sure.
You know I'm poking you. It's nice. Let's continue it.
That's my exploration.
Yeah. No. You said, I don't know if I can answer it or I can,
Yes.
Yet we are talking about it. But my question was what this actually then means, because if you that's the reason why I know I'm poking you, because a lot of people, or we can state so many definitions when we say, what do you mean with you? And you now describe it in, let's say, one specific way, which was which included also the senses. So this means that you are not. When does then you are not happen, or what is the mode of being when you are not? Does this mean when you don't have senses, when something doesn't have senses anymore, when there's no, not just personality, like psychological mind, thoughts, but also the senses go away, then you are not? Is this what you are trying to?
Yes, but the senses remain as they are. But just I am not attached to them. I am not the one with them. They are just like the guitar. I play a guitar and I express myself through guitar. But I don't go in the bed, in the bathroom. I don't go under the shower with the guitar because I'm not the guitar.
And when you say you mean the personality?
Yes, usually we are talking like this, and we are, the whole world probably is made out of you, means out of me. So everyone is like me, like I am. But usually we are sure that we are that what is called personality. That's why everything happened ugly and beautiful, because of our personality. I mean, in a social intercourses and in a social way of life. So senses conditioned our personality 100%. If you will be blind from a birth and deaf from the birth, will you be architect today? But still you will live. You will need help, maybe, but still you will live. But would you be architect? No. Would you be today as you are today? Absolutely not.
Absolutely not in that shape and manner, for sure.
Of course. In the sense of personality.
In the sense of personality, yeah. But
if you go further, all senses shut down, as in deep sleep. What is there in deep sleep? Very deep sleep. There is nothing.
Yeah.
Nobody remember. So there are some ancient traditions which teach people about those essentials. There could be different approaches to what remain, as you asked me, what remain if I'm not there, if there is no one, and there could happen a lot. Kabir, poet, he was trying to speak about love with using some words, and he was brilliant because his analogies through his words can bring someone towards where there are I am not, so where there is no me. And senses are what we are. And senses are nothing bad and nothing good. But bad becomes when we become so-called, not only slaves, but dependable on them. So, but mostly we are slaves of them, slaves of our sight, taste, smell, hearing, sounds. So we are not slaves. So we are not, in the East, they will say, we are not attached. Then the world changes.
Mm.
The whole world which we know probably changes itself.
Mm.
Because we maybe see it or hear it on a different way.
Mm.
I mean, on a different way, we are looking on that hearing and seeing. And then the natural question arises, who are we?
And I have a provoking question maybe for both of us, because I'm the same. I'm all the questions are not towards you, as you know already. It's also towards myself. Is there a path towards that?
Of course.
Please elaborate. I also have my thoughts on it, but please elaborate.
No, you can. Okay.
Yeah, please do.
Thousands of years, or 10,000s of hundreds of thousands of years, the answers are given, or the answers are trying to be found.
Mm-hmm.
But there is one simple thing I see. And that simple thing is that when one is free of himself, that it is. So free of himself means, as I see and as I explore and have some confirmations, that when I'm not really, then I really am. And so even not the feeling of I-ness is there. So millions of paths toward, and those millions of paths, many paths. My English is not probably best one.
No, it's all right. It's all right.
Understandable. Yeah.
Many ways towards something.
Yeah.
Paths.
So,
paths. It's
paths,
all,
paths, yeah.
it's very strange word to
millions
in plural.
Yeah.
But yeah, millions of ways towards something. Yeah.
Something you was asked for. You asked me.
Yeah.
But they have some common in all those paths.
Yeah.
And what is common is, on that way you are walking, just put aside as possible your personality, your ego, That's the common thing. And try not to be harmful to anyone on that path.
Mm-hmm.
Be sincere on that path.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't give up. Be humble. Be dedicated. And if you are humble, dedicated, try not to harm anyone in that way. Automatically, your personality as your ego is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Automatically. So when you reach the goal, you see that the goal is always here. There is nowhere goal than just inside of you. So it means you're looking upon yourself. That is the you are asking for. So the answer is already here. And there is nothing to do. It's just do less and less and less.
That was actually what I was aiming towards. So if you said, when you are not, what can then actually you do to bring about that not? Ah, now I have the question. Now this is the right question, I think. So if, let's say, that you is a problem.
Yeah, of course. You eat.
What can you do?
Yes.
To.
Yes, yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes, yes. Eat, sleep, secretion. That's all.
Meaning that when you eat, you sleep, you sleep.
And yes. And if you have to work hard or not so hard for your everyday living, you just work.
It's hard and not so hard for your living, or what? Yeah, yeah.
But you are not there when you are working. You are just working, like you are just shitting. Now we touch, or maybe I touch, something which I'm not authorized to talk about it. But I try.
This is the reason why I said, yet we are talking about it.
Yes,
but I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Who then is authorized to speak about it? You know? Probably that kid and that 80-year-old. But if it is seen as that, you know, if one sees as that, you know, maybe what I wanted to add is that when I tried to be all of those things, humble, nice, good, and so on, then I discovered that I'm actually not when I try to be.
Of course.
And it's so cunning, this process, that I will purposefully use that word now, bullshit ourselves a lot of times into that mode. And that's then the high ground that we take, and it's morally good again, and so on. And we think we are acting in a good spirit, but it's actually cunning, that process, you know.
And you know why?
Sorry?
You know why?
Yeah, I mean, I do in a way. Because it feeds itself. you know. It's so funny to see when it is seen, as such. It's so funny.
Yes.
It's like a chord jester
Yes.
who jumps around and
Yes.
wants to be something different that it's not.
Yes. That's the natural way for everyone who is seeking for answers like we are talking now about it. That I wanted to know the truth. I want to be free of myself or things like that. It is quite natural that we are like that. But maybe on some point we have to see, or somebody has to wake up at us that the one who is searching is obstacle. And but search has to be continued, and there is still the one who wanted that goal or that path, whatever. But maybe there is a more clearness inside of it. So maybe not so much attachment, and attachment means also pride, so-called spiritual pride, or many things like that. And we all have all these things inside of us. But it has to come to the point that we see that, and then maybe start to having a different approach. Just approach as I see that I am an obstacle. So how then further?
Yeah, that is the question. Yeah.
Yes, and then just doing very usual things. But of course, if again we are looking those very usual things, how we do them, and going the path of finding the answers we are talking about is this just, maybe we can say, happiness in every day, every moment of life. But again, I can scratch my head,
your bald head.
yeah, and see myself as a big ignorant talk about that, and it's better not to talk. But on some we are talking, and it's necessary to talk, and it's necessary to share. We started to talk about sharing. But then it's only silence.
Yeah.
So maybe you can ask better some material questions or topics which are
more graspable and interesting.
Less boring. Maybe less boring.
Yeah.
Maybe I am very boring, and maybe this is not interesting.
Yeah, maybe to a lot of people, or to some, maybe so, but I invited you because to me you are interesting. And we were talking now, let's say, about things which may be not so interesting for other people, but as I see it, it's let's say like this. Now we will switch, okay? Now we will switch to some more interesting things, but to me they will be the same. Till now, this was very interesting to me, and now let's say we will switch into some more interesting things, and that's one and the same for me. But let's do it. Tell me, Dušan, tell me, what actually you do in life. I won't go specific for now. I will leave it to you. But what do you do?
What I do for living is just I try to help people who are coming to me and they find themselves in some maybe unusual, difficult or similar situations, life situations, and try to help them to find out maybe some different angle of looking upon themselves. And of course, that means also upon life. So I try to help someone to find different angle. And then what person she or he sees there is not something what I gave to someone. It is just something which someone find out for him
For
or
themselves.
herself.
Yeah, for himself. Yeah.
And then I try to teach how to get rid of ideas about meditation. I do some courses. I do 3 months long course once weekly. We get together and try to help others to understand more themselves and introduce them the thing we call it, or we can call it natural meditation. Means meditation with no intention, meditation with no meditation, if we call it like that. And formally, maybe we can talk about some shape of Zen tradition, but we don't talk about Zen on that. We don't talk about meditation at all. And I play a gong. I do kind of a sound therapist and sound massage, which with a proper gong can really penetrate into the finest energies of the body and even around the body, which could also helps others to relax themselves and even heal themselves. Many things happened like that. Those are the things which I try to do, and where I live, I try to gather some individuals who are interested in sitting, like we call it meditation, more sitting, in a way, trying to, with non-achievement, achieve that no one is sitting there.
Okay, let's have this one. What actually meditation is? What is meditation?
Especially on the West, and probably in the East also nowadays, it's just a big fraud. Intentionally or unintentionally proposed. Big fraud in a way that meditation is not something you should or you could do it. The thing, call it meditation, is, according to my exploration and many traditions also have a same intention, that meditation is something which just happened and can happen, as I said, intentionally or unintentional way. And of course, the only and the one barrier which the practicant has on that so-called meditation path is himself in representation of the mind. So the mind is always an obstacle in so-called meditation. And many techniques, approaches are dealing with the mind on that path, so which we call it meditation. But if more we understand what we are, what we really are, we have been talking before about the senses which shapes what we call personality. So meditation is something which, as we said, just happened, and the mind is something which is an obstacle. But more we understand what we are, as I repeated now twice, more we see that there is no obstacle at all. It's like when people usually do meditation, simultaneously many processes in the body are going on. Some of them we could be aware, some of them we need a lot of exercise to be aware of them, but it is possible to be aware of many processes in the body. Like many Buddhist techniques are maybe like that. Maybe demands years of practice, but whatever, it is possible. So, but usually when we do meditation, nobody takes care about an obstacle which is like heart beating, or obstacle like some glands are always producing something, or the hair are growing, especially mine are growing very fast and they are very long. So nobody takes care. Why? Because everybody understands those are natural processes. And they are not obstacles. So if we understand that the mind, whatever we call the mind, is something like saliva comes from the mouth and from the glands in the mouth. So the thing which we call it thoughts are also something which is always here. And if we don't take them as a something which is special, as a something which is important, if we don't give any attention to them, not because you should not give attention to the thoughts, not based on that, but based on understanding that it is just like growing a hair on the hand, or the process which we call it mind is something which is here as a heart beating. So if we look upon the things called thoughts and the thing called mind from that approach, from that view, then very quick, probably very quick, with a maybe guidance needed maybe sometimes in the beginning, then the mind and the so-called thoughts, and they are not here. So they are not, and this is we call natural meditation. So there is nothing special. Everything is just as it is. So the sounds outside are here because I have ears. And the smell comes through the door because the nose is here. But nobody takes some special consideration. Oh, you know, when some smell comes, things like that, you know, some special introduction be needed. So if that process is just I am here, I sit, and I just am here. Even not I allow that everything is as it is. Even not that. I'm just here. And because of my senses are here, everything is here. But to be maybe easier to understood, I try to talk about it also to people which are there, and just I say maybe just allow everything to be as it is, because always till birth, from birth till death, we allow ourselves to be as we are. We are just behaving as we are. We are taking this very naturally, but we are just as we are. So when we sit in so-called process meditation, we just allow that everything is as it is, including us, including us, what we call inside, and including us, what we call outside, senses. It's very difficult to grasp that approach, but it's so simple. Why it's difficult? Because we are indoctrinated so deeply about what this meditation is.
It sounded paradoxical, which maybe you will tell me how you feel about it. When you said the mind is the obstacle.
Usually people think like that.
Yeah. And if you would stop there, then I would say, oh, I had a question, the question came, but you continued. But then you see that it's not an obstacle. I don't know how you frame it. You frame it much better, but let's say like this. If the mind is an obstacle, but then the mind is not an obstacle, it sounds paradoxical. And probably all of this process may be paradoxical. You're trying to do something but you shouldn't, and then you do.
Yeah, we do something with no trying.
Yeah. You do something, but you don't try to do it. So you're actually not doing it, or you are doing it, but in a different manner. Or so it sounds paradoxical, which probably is to the logical mind, isn't it?
Maybe, but it is so simple.
Yeah.
Because when you go pissing, you just piss. And when you sit, and you for purpose of meditation, when you sit, just as you sit, it is like when you are running through the wood and there is one bench and you are so exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
You just sit, you find a piece of wood or a bench or whatever. You just sit and you just are. Maybe some thoughts are here, maybe not, but you are just there. There are sounds of birds. There are maybe flying of some insects. Everything is just as it is, and you don't make any special out of anything.
You don't try to sit.
Yes.
You just
sit.
You
sit because you are tired.
That's it. Yeah.
And with the state of mind you sit at that time, with the state of mind, but we said better we will be if we said with the state of being.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah.
You just sit.
You said you sit. Probably it would be more accurate. Sitting happens.
Yeah. For meditation, if we talk now about meditation, of course you sit with some goal, with some intention, of course. But that goal, so-called goal, or that intention, is somewhere far away. You just know that you are hungry, and then you go to eat. But there are other sides of so-called meditations. And so, why meditate? To experience what is beyond the usual. And usual is myself as some personality with goals, sufferings, and beauties in my life. So if I want to go beyond, because I've heard that I can go beyond. I read somewhere, I've heard, and I have some experiences, everyone has, that, there's some state of mind where there is peace or happiness or just beautiful. So, and they told me, and I was taught, meditation, sit, don't move. So, but what is all that, what is behind all that? It's just go beyond usual. So unusual is that mind, personality, and body. And everyone who has been beyond for a glimpse or for a longer or shorter period can express later on that there was no body, there was no mind, there was no even presence, there was something where I was, everything what it is, but I was not. Everything what it is was me, but there is nothing. You said about contradiction, There is no contradiction. If mind
paradox
or paradox, paradox. Sorry, there is no paradox. Any paradox, it's just like if apples has to be ripe in October, and in July they're very, very small and very greenish yet. You can bring them a lot of nutrition, water, whatever, but they need the time. Paradox are there where we have a attachment to our ideas, because when we understand that the only obstacle on our way towards our way are we ourselves. So no teacher, no guru, no ideology can give us anything. This is now controversial more what I'm talking now, because we hardly understand the world beyond our personality. I was aware that talking will be useless maybe, but maybe on the other hand, maybe not so much. Some people try to talk with me in some talks like that, but I was kindly refused.
So you trying to say that you refused them,
Yeah.
or they refused you? No.
No, I refused.
You refused to
Some
talk.
invitation.
Yeah. Because of that, because you felt that some people not able to be able to understand.
Yeah. And that is maybe because lack of my capability to explain in a way that they will maybe understand. So this is maybe also my egoism.
So you said to me earlier that who will listen to this? Who will listen to this? I don't know. It may be too long, but or too all over the place, or not grounded, or not interesting enough, and so on. We touched this already, that this may be the case, but I don't mind. Probably, as I see life, people who need this will hear it, and others who don't need it won't hear it, or won't stumble upon it now, or never. So
maybe
it doesn't actually matter.
Yes.
Something caught my attention, which was about paradox. I see it actually much more that it is paradox. Even now I said it. And to use your analogy, which was really nice, there is no paradox when you look at the apple. When it's small, when it's still a flower, but it's not an apple, there's no paradox, there's no apple. But then later, a couple of months later, when time passes, it becomes an apple. So it is an apple, it's not a flower anymore. So those two instances, flower and the apple, there's no paradox. But if there's no time, in the flower there is already an apple, and apple is already a flower. It wasn't a flower.
Of course.
So if a feeling or a sense arises that it's not attached to the time, then actually this paradox comes much more apparent than when you see it in a specific time frames. This is the reason why I said I feel paradox in so many cases, and to go back to the topic we were discussing earlier, beautiful, not beautiful, unbounded beauty. Probably unbounded beauty is a paradox because it contains beauty and ugliness. And unconditional love is paradox because it contains war, violence, humility, or love, affection, and all of these nice modes. Therein lies the paradox.
It is whole as a whole. Maybe I have a problem always to see whole as a whole. Too much times.
You know, maybe we can end slowly on that topic of the paradox, and I maybe can at the end here, maybe I can say it was funny. It is funny because we tried to be personal and specific in the second half of this talk, but we weren't successful. I think the flow again went into the more abstract, let's say, way. I don't know, I feel this way. So let's be concrete. I could ask you about so many of your endeavors and adventures and visits to India and so on. You know, I had on the back of my mind, this would be probably, each of those would be so interesting to hear. When you went to India, when was the first time where you went to India? So many things that are interesting to me. Maybe we will continue later, but somehow we talked about, let's say, more universal or abstract ways, which is nice, I think. I don't mind, as I said earlier. Maybe to end on that paradoxical note, I will ask you one thing popped into my head when you were talking with someone on one podcast, and he started with, we met. He started like this. We met, and our relationship formed or manifested in a way of a teacher and a student. And you replied, and who is who? and this was enough for me. I didn't need to listen to any more, because it was, you see, and herein lies the paradox. You know. You know.
I'm very good getting your point. It is.
It was so funny, actually.
Yes. Maybe it was. Yes.
Yeah, it is. To me, it is.
It was.
Who is who?
Yes. It was. Personal things are always interesting things, and the things which are not so, which we defined not so personal, are for us boring, maybe. But what I was trying to talk to you, it was most deeply personal.
To me also. I actually was personal all the way. Now,
Yes, not philosophical. I don't try to say philosophical. But of course there are many things which are so interested. Many people who knows me closely. Maybe some relatives or maybe some friends. They say, you should write a book about your life, not just something else. But in my perception, it's like, oh, this will not be interesting for anyone.
Yeah.
But going into your shoes or into shoes of everyone, that will be maybe wow, interesting so much, because there are adventures, different adventures, and those adventures could also inspire, could also open some new gates to someone. And important is, I think, in our life that whatever we do, that maybe we try to make possible that some doors inside of our listeners or our friends or our just unintentional people from society we met, that we make maybe people happy, or happy in a way that maybe they could see there are some windows where they look through and there is a sun. I think this is the most important thing, and maybe when someone is reading something interesting for him and for someone else, not at all interesting, but it opens some window where the sun could be seen in that person. This is then our goal is fulfilled. But there is we live about things, talking about the goals, but we have to finish.
I think if let's finish on that note, which was funny that I thought it's not personal, but actually it was deeply personal, because if I can imagine if somebody else would utter the same words, it for sure wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be the same energy. So it actually doesn't mind if we talk about mundane, everyday stuff, your adventures, let's say, or mine adventures, or if we discuss some more abstract topics. If we stay open, or if there is an openness, like a child, which with curiosity explores, then it becomes, or it is deeply personal. Deeply personal. So actually now I see you. We discussed a lot of things, but to me, as I see you, it was very personal. These were your thing. This was from you, let's say, and it was personal. So we didn't discuss maybe journeys, but we discussed inner journeys, or more abstract journeys, which is personal.
Yeah, I see. Maybe I see same, and I see also that your involvement was very deep, personal. Was not out of your logical mind, but more out of your being, as I felt. And we didn't know what we will talk about that time. But for the conclusion, I can say that what we have common is just whatever our concepts are, whatever our theories, or whatever our interests,
views, life views, everything.
Whatever. All of us would like to be loved and would like to love. So That is my point. And all other things like meditation, like beauty, like chaos, like wars, like
love also.
like whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any meaning, any whatness in it. They're just words which are trying to reach our minds. But to be loved and to love is something which is beyond the mind. So I try to love and to be loved.
Let's end on that note. This is the note of love. It's nice. Dušan, what else can we say? Thank you. I will say only thank you for your time, for being here on this very rainy day.
Beautiful. Beautiful, really beautiful.
Yeah.
I like rain.
Yeah, me too. It's.
Thank you for the invitation. I'm really honored. I'm not just.
The honor is mine. Because it's interesting. So thank you, Dušan. Thank you.